How are you, Tiff?
I am great.
It's been a whole week.
Yes, an entire week. And I got to enjoy last week. So I celebrated my whole birthday. And so I
Nice.
saw you were celebrating your birthday too.
And we both went to Florida. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
Um, Different areas of Florida. I went up to the Panhandle. You went to Miami, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale.
No, yeah. Miami, really.
How was it?
Beautiful. I love South Beach.
I just want to take a moment here to point out that I did not realize that you were substantially older than me. Substantially older.
That is not
Significantly.
true. That is not true.
Significantly.
Is that true, really?
Yeah. Well, yours
Oh,
is what? March 8th?
oh, March 12th. You're talking
March
about
12th?
days.
Mine's 17th. I mean, that's significantly older.
5 days.
Significantly. Welcome back, Dr. Tiff. So, folks, welcome to the live stream. My name is Jim, and I am blessed to be sitting alongside Dr. Tiffany here. I used to have type 2 diabetes. I've reversed it completely. I had a 12.2% A1C. I now have a completely unmedicated 4.8% A1C. And Doc, I've never really asked you this before, but I got to think that's probably in the top 5 percentile in the U.S. Is that shooting from the hip reasonably? There's not a whole lot of people are in the 4s, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know the data exactly. So
Okay.
I don't know.
I also had awful cholesterol. And it's funny, I was just going through my Facebook posts today, and I didn't know how I came across it, but I came across a post that I made in like August of 22. So before I came across Field Rate, and I was talking about the story. In August of 22, I had been diagnosed about 2 months earlier. And in August, I was on all the medications. They had just taken me off of metformin. I forgot about this until I read it today. They put me on Steglatro for a little while, and then from Steglatro back over to metformin, Trulicity, 4.5 milligram pen of Trulicity, and then 40 milligrams a day of rosuvastatin calcium, and then losartan for my blood pressure. I was on a full concoction of medications. I was 45, I guess. What was it? 22, so 45 years old. Wow. It's kind of crazy to think. And I just thought that was the way that it was going to be forever, because that's what happens when you get older. And then I came across this. A good friend of mine told me about this program. I'm going to admit I was a complete skeptic. I thought it was a gimmick. Gave it a shot. I started it the beginning of January 2023, and February 16th, I got a call from my endocrinologist saying I could quit taking my Trulicity. And I'd already been taken off on metformin. So I was in remission at that point. In April 20th, we tested my A1C. It was 5.2%. And so I was holding 2 months, not going back up into the diabetes range. And then August, it was 5.1, and then a year later, so 14 months later, it was 4.8. And so life is just getting better and better and better. And that is my story. Dr. Tiffany, how did you get next to me? What poor decisions did you make to land this close to me?
I mean, really, even Amanda was like, she'd slap you for me because she know. No, but seriously, oh my gosh, you're so awesome. I am so excited this time I've had to be able to get to know you, as well as other people who figured this stuff out. So I'm a physician. I don't just play one on social media. I actually am board certified in family medicine. And then, I figured I needed something else to do. So I got board certified in lifestyle medicine. I really wanted to get to the root causes of conditions and not just give prescriptions. And so, after 20 years of doing things, the same old, giving prescriptions for this, prescriptions for that, I was bored. I was not happy. I wasn't making an impact. And so here I am making these different choices. And I started getting on social media talking about all these lifestyle changes you could do. And I got connected with a friend of ours who talked to me about these natural products. And I said, okay, maybe let's try it. And what I did see is I saw people's sugars, their blood pressure, their cholesterol get better. I was able to get off my blood pressure medicine after 2 months. I stopped having my hot flashes. And if anybody, ladies on here, y'all know hot flashes are for real. Those are some miserable things. I stopped having those. But I also got to help my brother get out the ICU on these products and get off his insulin, his Trulicity, his metformin. Help my mom, who's 72, reverse her prediabetes. Stop dragging her leg because she has multiple sclerosis. I mean, it's all this stuff. And then when you tack on that, the other people we get to help, that impact word is so much bigger than I ever did in 20 years practicing medicine. So why wouldn't I be here?
I've never heard the part about your mother with MS.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. I've seen a number of people have some amazing testimonials on Feel Great System with MS. Because of course we're seeing the connection to metabolic dysfunction and MS. That's pretty. I didn't know that about your mom.
Yeah.
But you just touched on something that I think I kind of glazed over on mine. I didn't mention it in mine, but you got your mom and your brother on it. I got my mother and my mother-in-law on it. My mother and my mother-in-law have both reversed type 2 diabetes. My wife has reversed pre-diabetes. We're sharing it with our family. And that kind of is an easy little segue into if you have been invited here.
Yeah.
If you've been tagged into this live stream, that's because somebody thinks that you should hear the information being given in this live stream. So stick around. It's only an hour long. It's pretty informational and hopefully entertaining at the same time. We like to talk about the Feel Great System. This is something that I was extremely skeptical of when I started it. And, well, I believe it saved my life now. And there are a lot of people that say the same thing. So stick around for the live stream. If at the end of it you decide you want to buy it, all you do is get with the person who tagged you. The person who invited you here, just get with them. They'll tell you exactly how to order it. It's done on a referral basis. You can't buy it in grocery stores or anything like that. You have to get it through a link. And so get with the person who invited you here. They'll tell you how to order it. It's that simple. If you are having an amazing experience, I just saw Jamal said hi to all of us and what's up, brother? How are you? If you are like Jamal and you want to share the product out, you want to share the information, you think this could benefit somebody, all you do is invite them here. If you invite them to this live stream, well, they're going to hear Dr. Tiffany and our amazing testimonials talk about the products. I'll talk about how to use the products. So to invite somebody, all you do is hit the little @ symbol, type that little @ thing, whatever that is, and start typing their name. When you start typing their name, it'll populate. Boom, hit enter. You're good to go. They're invited. The next time they log into Facebook, they'll see this. So it's really pretty simple. And actually, I haven't done this in a long time, Dr. Tiffany. I'm going to encourage everybody who's listening right now to invite 5 people.
Yeah.
Just invite 5
idea.
people. Go through and just hit the @ symbol and start typing name. And everybody in here invite 5 people. Let's just do that. Okay, so Dr. Tiffany, there are 2 amazing testimonials.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm completely naive to yours. I don't know her story at all. I sort of do a little bit because we were talking before we started the live for about 3 minutes, not very long. And then my testimonial, I'm just getting to know myself. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Should we start with yours or mine?
Well, I'm partial to mine, so bring on Chris. Bring on Chris. Hey. I didn't even get a chance to say hello because Jim put me in the waiting room, y'all. He didn't even let me come on. So I get to bring on Chris. I'm so excited about this lady. I mean, history and nursing, so she knows a lot of stuff. I love that I've gotten blessed with so many smart people that are in this fight with me, who get the vision and who have all the energy. I mean, Yvette put this post in there, be the energy you want to attract. And whoa, just wait. Go ahead, Chris. Let Chris do her part.
Well, okay. Thank you so much for letting me be here tonight and sharing this amazing breakthrough I've had. So I am a nurse of over 30 years. I've taken care of over 80,000 patients in my career. 3 years ago, I retired from nursing, and I'm really grateful that I'm no longer employed. However, I had all those problems in my youth, overweight, sluggish. I was diagnosed with PCOS early in my life, and I also had not type 2, it's gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with my second child. And I did some calculations and found out that I had lost and regained about 500 pounds in my adult life. Struggled hard with carb addiction and overeating and emotional eating. And girl, I don't know about you with healthcare, but me and snacks in my pockets all day long, trying to keep my blood sugar up. I didn't know what I didn't know. Went to nursing school, did nutrition classes, didn't matter. I could not take care of me. And I just had the hardest time. So finally, I hit the big 5-0 and took a hard look in the mirror and said, I need to do something. So I turned to what I thought was my only answer, which was a sleeve gastrectomy, which I had in January of 2024. And I lost 95 pounds, thought I was doing everything I could to terminate this metabolic syndrome that I had. And lo and behold, I found out on my labs that I cut out 70% of my stomach to find out I was still pre-diabetic and insulin resistant. Does that blow your mind? Because that really pissed me off. I'm like, what? So I decided I'll just get on this GLP-1 injection train everybody's on, thinking, for 8 months post-op, I didn't have any feeling of hunger. And then it came back tenfold on month 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm flipping out going, I need to do something, right? I got to get this food noise to tone down because I'm going to be like all those other people that regain all their weight, right? So I went on the bound of the Zep, the tide of the semaglutide, the pick of the Ozemp. I don't want to say it. You know what I mean, right? 1 in 8 people are on that drug.
You can say it.
I went on it. I spent $875. And I was so sick on this drug. I could not go to the bathroom. I could not eat. I was laying in bed for days. And my husband came up to me. He holds my hand and looks in my eyes and says, Chris, please do not inject yourself with that stuff again. No. And I was like, I got to figure out something else because I've tried it all. I've done the keto and I've done the intermittent fasting and I've done blah, blah. I've read all the books, right? But I just couldn't deal with the carb craving. Mm-hmm. And this ice cream calling me from the freezer. I joke about it, but it's actually real for me. And it's the thing that had me continue to eat even though I wasn't even hungry. So a girlfriend of mine calls me up and she tells me about this protocol, right? And I roll my eyes. I have heard it all. I have been on every program, protocol, thingamadoohickey, you name it, I've done it. And I'm like, I'm just over it. But because I had such a horrible experience with the GLP-1s, I was like, you know what? This girl, Beverly, is the healthiest person I know. So I say, okay, I'll get on this thing. My first day with this chlorogenic tea, I kicked a 1-year coffee habit without even thinking about it. I was like, okay, what is this stuff? And literally not hungry. And I started eating at noon, which is I've been eating as a sleeve gastrectomy girl, like a sleeve sister. I'm eating every 2 hours, tiny amounts. But I literally went from the night before to noon and not hungry. I was like, what the heck is this stuff? Right? And because of my problems with my gastrointestinal stuff, and not being able to go number 2 well at all since surgery, I started on half doses of that fiber and oh my gosh, 1, it tastes great, and 2, it's awesome, and 3, girl, like, I'm actually intermittent fasting for the first time, and I'm not suffering, right? So, drum roll. This is the part that blows me away. I lost 2 inches on my hips the first month, right? I didn't lose any weight, which means I gained muscle mass. And you got to understand something. If you're over 50 years old and you're female, postmenopausal or perimenopausal, anywhere in there, and you gain muscle mass, that's rare. And especially for Sleeve Sister, I lost 3 pounds of muscle mass last year when I lost all that weight. So like I gained muscle mass and lost inches. I was like, okay, now that is pretty cool. But I had my labs done. And I went from 5.7, which is pre-diabetic, and in 5 weeks, I went to 5.5. I am no longer pre-diabetic. Can I hear an amen here? Because seriously,
amen. Amen.
Thank you. Because like this is no joke. Like I know the science. I understand the books. I have read all the stuff. I've read the research. I've read all that stuff. And I couldn't solve my own problem. And it took 2 plant-based products and a protocol, and I was out of my issue. I wish I would have heard about this before the sleeve gastrectomy, but however, this is my story, and I just want to share that if anybody's on here who has had a sleeve or weight loss surgery and you're dealing with either the shots or you're dealing with whether or not you should go on those things, I'm telling you, 1, this protocol is cheaper, way cheaper. 2, I could get a guarantee. I have a guarantee here. Like I can get my money back if something doesn't work. I didn't get my money back for the $875 I spent on that stuff. Oh yeah, it was expensive. So like I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I don't even know what else to say.
Told you. What I tell you?
Match the energy. I love you. I had no idea. First off, I didn't know she was a nurse. First off, and then I guess first off, you don't look old enough to have retired.
Oh, you're so sweet, honey. I'm 55 this year, but you know what? See, the thing is nurses make pretty decent money, but I ended up doing my own little side thing, and like I got out of that healthcare crazy stuff. Yeah, I jetted out right after that pandemic thing. I was done.
Well, what's curious to me, and both of you are medical professionals, and Dr. Tiff, you mentioned your high blood pressure, and Chris had a slew of metabolic health issues. What I found, it's amazing the number of people in the healthcare industry who are sick. And I believe it just, they spend their time taking care of other people and not taking care of themselves along the way. And that's the only thing I can, because you know better. And here, and I think what I'm trying to say with that is that if we know better and we still do it, that is clearly a sign of the struggle that is real. Does that make sense?
Oh, the struggle is real. The struggles, and it gets worse as you age and go through all the female changes. Males have a lot of that too. It's really actually not talked about a lot, but there is a menopause out there. It's not just a menopause, right? There's a whole slew of things that happen with men. And the scary thing is like that low testosterone thing that's happening to men in their 30s and 40s now. I mean, like it's scary. And yeah, I could talk forever about this, and I don't want to belabor the point.
I love it. And I love you. Your energy is contagious.
Yes.
Dr. Tiff, before I send her to the waiting room, because I'm going to send you to the waiting room, but I'm going to ask you to stick around to the end of the live stream because I know people are going to have questions for you. But before I do so, Dr. Tiff, you want to say anything to her? Question?
I mean, other than, what was great, she didn't need me to bring my pound because she said, "Can I get an amen?"
Yeah.
Loved it.
Blown away. Like, I'm blown away. Like, yeah, I'm shocked.
Love it.
Before I do turn off the camera, what's amazing is how quickly we can turn around that metabolic health. It seems like it's so far gone, and Dr. Tiff's getting ready to talk about Dr. Bickman. But he had a video a while back where he said, "I don't care how far gone you think you are.
Yeah.
You're never too far gone. We can always undo this." And I mean, Chris, I believe we're inside of 2 months, month and a half, and you're feeling an amazing difference. Already seeing that reduction, and that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm really excited.
People keep asking me, like, they saw me like 2 weeks into this, and they'd said, "Girl, like what's going on with your skin? You look good." And like, I had like mental clarity for the first time in over a year. Most people that have a sleeve gastrectomy done, they are down and out for a good year. Like, not able to do much, really dragged out, no energy, living at 500, 800 calories a day. It is tough. Wow. And I came out the other end. I got energy that me and my husband, he's 70 this year. I'm 55 this year. We're doing one of those like old school, like the P90X thing on the DVDs, like the old school stuff. We're doing that stuff. We do that every day. I'm exercising.
Who she reminds me a lot of?
Who?
Beverly Grandison.
Right. That's right. Put out the energy you want to attract. Right.
Okay. I'm going to turn off your Chris. Will you stick around for us? I'm bring you back. Okay.
I'm here.
All right. Oh my God. Yes. She's a rock star.
Yes.
Dr. Tiffany, will you teach us?
Yes, I will definitely do my best to expound upon what is our problem, right?
Oh, and did I hit? Try it again.
What?
Oh, no.
Can you see it?
There it is.
Okay. So the problem is the poor metabolic health. I mean, only 93% of Americans are struggling with their metabolic health. Only 7% actually don't have this problem. Even 1 in 3 adults have metabolic syndrome. And then the medication that doctors prescribe to try to decrease this risk, the statin family, the number 1 prescribed medication, that's $1 trillion industry, only helps 1 out of 100 people. But if you actually correct your lifestyle, make some changes like the natural products that we like to use help you do, you can reduce your metabolic health issues by 39%. And so I like to talk about diabetes because I heard Dr. Ben Bickman say that diabetes is like insulin resistance squared. And so I like to talk about this when most people know about this, type 2 diabetes. And diabetes itself is 30.3 million people in the US. And that's 1 out of every 10 people, right? And then 1 out of every 4 don't know they have it. And then pre-diabetes, that's the diagnosis before you get to diabetes, right? 84.1 million people are struggling with that. And 9 out of 10 don't know they have it. And then heart disease. I mean, this is also sad that we are still talking about this because 30 years ago, when Chris probably first started doing nursing, heart disease was the number 1 killer back then. It still is now. There's a problem with that, right? And so the problem is, one, we kind of taught people doing the wrong things, but also we kind of rely on the fact that if you have it in your genes, then it's probably going to happen. So you don't really make the changes you need to make. And so a new thing I'm talking about now is that our genetics, we have control over this. So we aren't bound by these conditions. If we want to change our lifestyle, if we want to change the land we're given and till it with better lifestyle, we can have a better crop, a better yield. We aren't bound by this. So our lifestyle changes can do everything. And we don't have to be like that lady in that top left holding all those prescriptions. Now, over half of all adults in the world are dealing with insulin resistance. And so when we see that, then people are like, maybe that's not me. Well, let's talk about the symptoms. If you're having trouble with cravings for sugar or salty foods, difficulty losing weight, that brain fog, really struggling with anxiety, depression, tired, especially after meals, that whole itis thing, that's not a normal thing. That's because your sugars are getting up too high and dropping too low and you are tired. Skin tags, those are not genetic either. When you change your lifestyle, they will really fall off. Literally. I have pictures of people where they start falling off. So getting them lasered off or cut off, one, they're going to grow back. So that's not ideal. And it costs more money. And your doctor's going to tell you they're going to grow back when you go see them anyway. But if you change your lifestyle, you can actually get them to fall off. And if you keep those changes, they can stay off. Irregular menstrual cycles, that's how women have problems with their hormonal imbalance from insulin resistance, PCOS, the leading cause of infertility for women. And then you have the erectile dysfunction for men, the man boobs. I mean, there's a lot on here, right? Oops, I went the wrong way. Okay, and so what is insulin resistance? Lots of us know about this hormone because we've seen somebody in our family, because so many people deal with family members that have type 2 diabetes. So you see this insulin hormone and you think, oh, that's something you give to people. No, we have this hormone in our body, and this job, it has many jobs, but the jobs we're going to focus on is how it delivers energy into the cells and then stores excess glucose as fat. It regulates blood sugar levels. And so insulin resistance, where does this come from? Well, this is when your cells just stop responding to insulin. And what causes it? Having too much insulin in the bloodstream. And then what makes that happen? Things we put in our mouth. And so from this global nutrient database, we see that almost 3/4 of what people in the world are eating are carbohydrates. And why does that matter? Is because carbohydrates break down into the highest amount of glucose. And glucose is what makes your pancreas decide to release insulin, so that you can bring that glucose into the cell to use it. And so I like this little picture here because it gives us an idea. So when you first wake up in the morning, that's what on the left is supposed to show here, okay? When you first wake up in the morning, your insulin is the lowest because you've been fasting, because you've been sleeping, unless you've been eating in your sleep. But if you're like people who don't have that problem, you're fasting. So your insulin is low, has no reason to go up. Then you have your breakfast, and most of us eat carbohydrate-heavy breakfasts, cereal, oatmeal, toast. Those things are filled with carbohydrates. And then what they do is they make your body have to release a lot of insulin, your pancreas. And then when you have your snack a couple hours later, because that didn't sate you, so now you want to eat some more. And if it's a carbohydrate, say it's a Nutri-Grain bar because you're trying to do something healthy, right? That's still going to kick up your insulin level. And then come lunch, because you're hungry again after a couple hours. So you're going to actually, maybe if, they have pizza or a sandwich or a wrap at the office, you'll grab that. That's high in carbohydrates too. Again, kicks up your insulin level. And then the midday snack, because you got to have that because now you're in a slump, right? You're in a slump. You're tired because you've been eating too frequently and you've been eating more carbohydrates than you probably need to. Then you hit dinner and it's probably laden with carbohydrates, and then your dessert. And the reason why I say that it's probably laden with carbohydrates is because the medical community, the health community, really told us to eat 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates a day. So this isn't me picking on you. This is me knowing that lots of us were eating too many carbs. And then what's sad is now our carbohydrates have been stripped of their fiber. That's the part that saves us from the detrimental effects of eating it. So you look at your wild rice on the left there. That doesn't look anything like your white rice, right? We're missing something. We're missing the fiber. And why is that important? Because fiber helps keep your digestive system running smoothly, helps with weight management, helps with blood sugar control. I mean, it allows your pancreas not to have to work so much, not to have to release so much insulin, so that way your cells can become more insulin sensitive. And so it's really not your fault entirely, because we have this big food, and I say food because this food isn't real. All the stuff we need, all the nutrients we're taking out of it. And so it has addictive. It has increased sugar levels. It has coloring to make it attractive to the eye. And all these things actually add to the carbohydrate addiction and sugar addiction, which is a huge problem in trying to decrease your carbohydrate load, which is one of the first things that I say you can do immediately. Eat lower carbs, or eat less of your carbohydrates. A better way to say this, because I don't like to say that I'm restricting anything or telling you not to do something. A better way to say this is be more protein forward. Do your protein and your veggies and your healthy fat first, and then eat your carbohydrate last. That way you'll eat less of them just because you'll be full. And I still get what I want without making your mind think you have to be restricted from it. Because one, if you're me and I tell you to stop doing something, you're going to want it even more. And then, of course, avoiding processed carbohydrates and refined sugars. Everybody needs to do that. There's no diet that says this is healthy. The problem is that's where your addiction is. So you need something to help you do that. And then exercise. I mean, Chris was talking about how she's doing P90X. Okay, that's a bad lady. P90X is no joke. But what she's doing, she's building muscle. And that muscle brings in the glucose to help get that glucose out the bloodstream so you don't have to release as much insulin. Gives your cells time to get more insulin sensitive. And then the fiber, because like I said, the fiber was taken out in our food environment, right? So we don't have as much as we need. And there's studies that already show if you have 30 grams of fiber, that's actually going to decrease the amount of glucose in your bloodstream and actually improve with inflammation. So yeah, adding a supplement to make that even better is great. And then time-based eating. And of course, I say time-based eating, and that's usually when people run for the hills, but there's so many great things that happen with this. And I don't want to go into this for too long because y'all don't have all night, neither do I. But if you get into 16 hours, we start tapping into autophagy, where your cells start to clean up, starts to get rid of broken processes, start to heal damaged cells, which is huge. So I said all those 5 things like it's just easy to do. Having something to help you do them makes this so much more sustainable, allows you to be more consistent. So if we could actually boost your normal GLP-1, that would make all the difference. GLP-1 reduces cravings, balances blood sugar, improves digestion. And so most people who have those carbohydrates and sugar addictions, they're having the cravings, they're overeating, they're having difficulty managing their weight, and they're having the energy crashes. So boosting your GLP-1 is going to make all the difference. And so, yes, we have shots out there. You know, Chris was talking about this too, Ozempic, Wegovy. Those are ways to synthetically increase GLP-1. And they do it at such an astronomical level that you have some crazy side effects. But when you, crazy side effects, and I can go into them, thyroid cancer, gut paralysis, gut perforation, that's a hole in your gut. We kind of need our gut to be intact, you know? And then there's all this other crazy stuff, blindness. And then after 1 year, you can have muscle loss, bone loss. And then after 2 years, the shots don't even turn off the cravings as well. Then what's the point of taking them or spending the money like Chris was talking about? So having something that boosts this GLP-1 naturally is huge, 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 huge. And with the chlorogenic acid, ferulic acid, theobromine, and saponins that are in the yerba mate extract that is in this product, you're getting that boost. As well as with the short chain fatty acids and the soluble fiber, you're boosting that natural GLP-1. And so why am I speaking up like I have nothing else to do on a Wednesday night? It's because we have great science. We have great results with people giving us studies. And we have all these people with great results, not just our family, but people we've just come in contact with. And I feel like a freaking superhero. I had to bring this back again. I don't know if you saw me do this, Jim.
I love this. I love it. I like the changes. You added some stuff in there.
I did.
So as I was listening to you go through there, I was thinking I'm going to kind of dig into some of the science a little bit myself today. So I'm gonna kind of have a little bit of fun with that. I think people will appreciate that. So, and if I'm going to do that, then I want to run through the protocol really quick, and then we'll bring in Felicia, and then after Felicia, then I'll go into the science a little bit. So how do we use this? Well, there's 2 products, and I'm going to go into the detail on the 2 products after Felicia's testimonial, but there are 2 products. There is Balance and Unimate. And we pair those 2 products with time-based eating, specifically a 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule, intermittent fasting, as Dr. Tiffany just kind of explained the benefits to that. Now, during the fast, you drink your 2 Unimates. And so for me personally, and there's a little bit of flexibility on the second one, but for me personally, the way that this works is at 8 p.m. I'm done eating for the day. I'm full. I've had dinner. I don't need any more food. If I'm going to the pantry, if I'm going to the fridge, it's not because I'm hungry. It's because I've got a bad habit. And so at 8 p.m. I'm done eating for the day. I don't eat again until noon the following day. That's 16 consecutive hours with no food. And it seems like such a long time, but I'm sleeping for like 8 hours of it. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I crack open a Unimate. Now, they're going to send you a bottle. And of course, I didn't think to have my bottle here, but they're going to send you a bottle. Dr. Tiff has hers right there. We call them diamond bottles, and there's a line on the back of it that says Unimate. Fill it up with water, add this, shake it up, and sip on it. Now, that is kind of a guide. You can break the rules. This is kind of a fun one. You can break the rules. You can add more water. You can add less water. You can make it hot. You can make it cold. Personally, I have my Yeti thermos, Yeti, whatever you call these things, 30 ounces. and I'll put one of those teas into there and fill it up with hot water, coffee hot, and I'll sip on this thing for like 3 hours. When it's done, I just drink the second one. Same exact thing. Sometimes I drink my second one hot. Sometimes I drink it's cold. My wife likes to put both of them into one and drink it all at once. However you do. Okay? Now, before we, and by the way, there are 3 separate flavors of that. There is lemon. There is lemon ginger, little spice if you like a little bite, and apple spice, which is it's a seasonal flavor. So there's not, it's a limited time. So if you want it, we're probably getting close to the end of the run. It kind of tastes like Christmas in a cup. Apple cider type of thing. Cloves, cinnamon, it's delicious. So those are the 3 flavors. Now, before we eat our biggest meal of the day, that same diamond bottle has a line on it that says balance. Fill that up with cold water. To that line, add your balance. It's available in orange or mixed berry. This tastes like Orange Julius, and this tastes like a Jolly Roger. Jolly Rancher. Jolly Roger? Whatever.
Rancher.
Give it a brisk little shake, 7 or 8 shakes in the bottle, and then chug it like you're at a frat party in college. And then enjoy your meal. It's that simple. Okay? So, totally sustainable, really, really easy to stick to, and the best thing you'll ever do. So, with that in mind, I want to bring out Felicia. And I'm going to go into detail on why they each work, what makes them special. So, stick around for after Felicia. I'll go into some detail on why those work. Now, Felicia, I got to admit, I know her, but I don't know her that well. We're kind of just getting to know each other. So, Felicia, I like to ask people, how did we meet? And, of course, we did not meet. You and I, we met through somebody else. Where were you at with your health journey at the time, and where are you at today? Will you just tell us your story?
Okay, thanks for the opportunity to be here, guys. I'm so excited, and I think very highly of you, Jim, so kudos for that.
I think very highly of you, Felicia.
Thank you. Thank you. My health journey has been pretty bad off and on for the past few years. 2014, I had a heart attack the day before Valentine's Day. 2015, in May, I had another one. So over the years, I've been feeling really sluggish. I lost a lot of weight after the second heart attack. I lost about 85 pounds because my highest weight was 252. And so I dropped to 80 pounds. And over the past 5 years, I've gained every bit of that back, every bit of it. Because I am now on disability, and I was unable to have the mobility that I had. Okay, so over the past year, I would say, I started feeling like so bad. I can't even make you understand how bad I felt. I kept telling my kids, I said, if y'all don't believe me, I feel like I'm going to die. That's how bad I felt. So one day, I seen Kristen on TikTok. She was talking about skin tags. And that gave me the, wait a minute, stop, go back. So I stopped and went back and listened to what she was saying. And that's the thing that I had skin tags, and couldn't figure out how to get rid of them. And she was saying, by following this protocol, that your skin tags will fall off. And I'm like, whoa, really? That's fascinating. I would love to have that happen. And so that's how I run across the protocol. But in the past, since December 14th, I went ahead and ordered the product from her that day. So since December 14th, that was my first day. I have lost several of those skin tags. Not all of them, but several. I have dropped 31 pounds, and my blood work is almost perfect. My A1C went down from a 6.3 to a 5.7. I'm still a little up on insulin resistance, but not near as bad as I was before. My energy has increased dramatically. I mean, like I said, just a few months ago, I felt like I was going to die. I mean, I felt horrible. Every day I was like, why do I got to get up and do this again? You know, but now that's over. That is over. Feels so much better. And that's about the size of my story.
That's about the size.
That's about the size of it. Yeah.
It's a decent size.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, those 2 heart attacks, I did everything on my own. I didn't have no help from anybody. I went 3 weeks on both sessions of heart attacks with no money whatsoever because I didn't have any support system. My husband was lazy, wouldn't do anything. Only thing you wanted to do is play video games, drink beer, and smoke cigarettes. And I really didn't have any help. So, not wanting another heart attack. See, I was having heart flutters too, and that's another thing that was scaring me with my health. I was having heart flutters, and those are gone also. So that's a big
And
thing to me.
that's a good point too, Jim, because how many times do you have people that are like, I have heart rhythm issues, I'm afraid of the caffeine, because that's what the medical community's been saying for years, is that caffeine's going to make that worse, and her heart flutters are better.
My mother
They're
had
gone.
she hasn't had any episodes since she started this.
Right.
So I think my favorite takeaway from this, and Felicia, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So don't ever let me put words in your mouth. But what I really get the sense of is a sense of hopelessness and kind of helplessness. And you're not there right now. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that if somebody feels helpless and hopeless, like you feel like, you know, I know that Felicia knows this about me, and I think Dr. Tiff does. My favorite quote, it's the massive men lead lives of quiet desperation. I feel like we get stuck in this place where we feel like we're stuck, you know, and it's helpless and it's hopeless. And if you feel like that, you don't have to. There is hope. And I like the fact that Felicia's story kind of encompasses that. Is that accurate, Felicia? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
That's very accurate, because I felt like, I mean, I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I felt so bad. And I didn't realize, you know, there was such a thing. Well, I've heard of insulin resistance. And until I run across Kristen talking about skin tags and discoloration and some other issues that she was talking about, I had no idea that I was insulin resistant, you know, and didn't know how to even address such a problem. You know, I thought I was going to be stuck with that. And my next fear was becoming a diabetic, because so many people in my family were diabetic, and I'm like, well, that's just right down the pike, and I don't know what to do. So yeah, I was pretty hopeless, and yeah, felt helpless too. Yeah, you're right.
Felicia, I love the story. I love the sense of hope. Dr. Tiff, I'm going to shut off her camera. Felicia, will you stick around to the end of the live stream?
I got you.
Before I turn off her camera, Dr. Tiff, did you have any questions for her?
No, thank you so much, Felicia. I'm so happy you're on here, and I'm happy you've gotten your hope back. That's what this is about.
Thank you.
I love that part of it. So what I want to do is I want to kind of dive into some of the science and her heart issues. That's where we're gonna start with. So let me share my screen here. I'm gonna talk myself through this, right? There we go. So this is just a quick little Google search. What is the top heart hospital in the United States? And Google says the Cleveland Clinic. And in fact, that particular article, U.S. News and World Report, they ranked the Cleveland Clinic as a number one with a score out of 100 out of 100. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, and here's another study. Let me just, another report. Oh, did I hit stop sharing? I did. I hit stop sharing. What did I do that for? Why did I do that? Here we go. How about that? I was like, where did it go? So here's another one done just last year, Statista, and they listed the Cleveland Clinic as number 2, right behind the Mayo Clinic and right in front of Mass General. So, I mean, whether you call it number 1, number 2, it's one of the most respected heart hospitals in North America right now. Now, the reason I bring that up is let's look at Unicity Balance. Balance is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. If you go to the nutritional information on it, you'll see that it has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. It's a full B complex, so it has B6, B9, B12. It has, 410% of B6. 90% of your daily folate equivalent, and 1,040% of your B12. It's also got chromium and zinc and calcium. It's got it's a multivitamin. Now that multivitamin and blend of fibers is really what makes it so unique. So this here, I found this on PubMed. That is National Institutes for Health. It's an official website of the United States government. They looked at a fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. Does it matter? Now, you can get the full text of that study at unicityscience.org. And I would encourage everybody to go to unicityscience.org. You can really kind of geek out in that area. I love that area. So this study right here was done at the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic in 2001. It was published in 2002. And you'll notice the fiber tested was BioSlife 2. Now, of course, we're talking about balance. What is balance and what is BioSlife? Let me just touch on that really quick. This is a packet of Unicity's BioSlife. This is a packet of Unicity's Balance. They are the same thing. BioSlife was developed by Rexall Pharmacy 35 years ago, more than 35 years ago, and it's available in like 60 countries globally, all over. So depending on where you're at, it might still be called BioSlife. If you're in North America, it's called Balance, but they are the same. So with that in mind, let me go back to our study. Where did it go? There it is. They studied BioSlife, and they found it caused statistically significant reductions in LDL, total cholesterol, it improved HDL, helped with glucose, ApoB, all of these. So much so that they concluded such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. And I want to reread that, but I'm going to substitute some words. And Dr. Tiff, correct me if I'm wrong. Such a product, BioSlife, if taken regularly, we take it every day, could reduce cardiovascular risk. That is heart disease, right? On a population basis, that is everybody. And potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Those are statins. So, BioSlife, taken every day, could reduce heart disease for everybody and potentially decrease the need and or dose for statins. What happened to Felicia? Her numbers improved. Well, that's why. That's why. Now, what is the glycemic index? I get this from the Mayo Clinic. This is just a little write-up on what is the glycemic index. And they say the glycemic index ranks foods on a scale from 0 to 100. The low end of the scale has foods that have little effect on blood sugar levels. The high end of the scale has foods with a big effect. So we want to stick to foods that are lower and avoid foods that are higher. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see low glycemic index foods are things like green vegetables, most fruits, raw carrots, kidney beans, chickpeas, and lentils. Foods that are high, white rice, white bread, and potatoes. So we're supposed to avoid the things that are high and gravitate towards things that are low. And I would argue that we do the exact opposite. We go towards the things that are high and avoid the things that are low. Now, talking about the glycemic index, if you go to glycemicindex.com, it will take you to the University of Sydney, Australia. That's because the University of Sydney, Australia is responsible for maintaining the International Glycemic Index database and website. Now, if you hit the About page, it will talk about her, and it's coming up here in just a moment. I hit About. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. It will talk about her. She is Professor Jenny Brand Miller. She's a doctor at the University of Sydney, and she oversees the group of people that are in charge of maintaining the database and website. She's an internationally recognized authority on carbohydrates and the glycemic index with over 250 scientific publications. Now, the reason I talk about Dr. Jenny Brand Miller is because she studied the effects of a fiber-rich nutritional supplement, BioSlife Slim, at the University of Sydney, Australia, for Unicity International. The fiber-rich supplement BioSlife Slim decreased the glycemic index of 3 common starchy foods, namely white bread, white rice, and mashed potato. In each case, it reduced the glycemic indices from high glycemic foods to medium. It took a bad food and literally moved it over to the medium glycemic index. It took something that was bad and made it better. Dr. Jenny Brand Miller, University of Sydney, Australia, she studied it a second time. And the second time, that, by the way, this was 2011. It's not new. This has been around for quite a while. She gave test patients white bread, which is a 100 on the glycemic index. And she observed a 20 to 28% reduction in blood glucose. And as Dr. Tiffany just taught us, it's the blood insulin that's the problem, a 13 to 27% reduction in blood insulin levels. Those are just absolutely massive numbers. Now, let's talk about Unimate really, really quick, because I know we're pressed for time, so I'm going to try and just cover this really quick. This is Professor Ben Bikman. He is a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University. In fact, he oversees their laboratory of obesity and metabolism, and he pays particular emphasis on the etiology of insulin resistance. He's been teaching there for over 14 years, and he's been published more than 30 times on the topic of insulin resistance. This is the smartest dude in the world talking about insulin resistance. Now, why am I talking about him? Well, Dr. Bikman has now published research on Unicity's Unimate, the tea. This study right here, again, done by him in October of 2023, where's his name at? Right there. And if you go down to the materials and methods, you'll see the mate that he used was Unicity's Unimate. Basically, this study showed that Unimate increased the efficiency at which we burn fat. It made us better fat burners. And who doesn't want to be one of those? Now, an observation that he made during this study, and he talked about it, he did not publish it, but here is him actually talking about it.
That I'll be sharing at a meeting in March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did that GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in a fasted state, which is pretty considerable. That I'll be sharing at a meeting.
So what have we got here? We've got balance. Studied at the Cleveland Clinic, the University of Sydney, Australia, UNLV, Stanford. It's been studied all over the world by some of the brightest minds out there and shown that it actually works. Clinical validations. Unimate, now studied by the brightest minds in the world, and found that it increases GLP-1 by up to 70% during a fasted state. Ben Bikman, not some random dude on TikTok. That's why the stuff works. There's science. Unicity is a science-based company putting out a food-based product. That's what it is. So if you've been invited to this live stream by somebody and it sounds like something you want to try, you get to try it risk-free. They offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, try their stuff for 90 days. You've spent a lifetime getting sick. Try their stuff for 3 months. If at the end of 3 months you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. They'll give you all the money back.
Yeah.
All your money back. It is so simple. It is risk-free. There's absolutely nothing to lose, yet everything to gain. So with that in mind, did I miss anything, Doc?
No. You did your thing there with the science. Love it when you do that.
Okay, here we go. Let's bring back Chris and Felicia. And should I leave Dr. Tiffany on the big screen there?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So I see Ro just added in here. If you're tagged during this live, please reach out to the person who cared enough about your health. They have a discount link for you. That's so well put, Ro. Get with the person who invited you here. They'll tell you how to order it. If it's something that you are on and you're excited about it and you want to share it with somebody else, this is a great opportunity to do that as well. Mm-hmm. So what questions? We've got a lot of time. I thought I was going to be pressed for time. We got about 7 minutes worth of questions here to lay it on to Dr. Tiff, Chris, Felicia. Fire away. Anybody got questions? And while we're at it, while we're waiting for anything to come in, and if you did ask a question, please retype it. I don't want to act like I'm avoiding any questions. Chris and Felicia, thank you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and coming onto this live stream. I know that I'm so used to doing these live streams that I don't have a problem getting in front of a camera, but I know you guys don't do them every day. So thank you.
You're very
My
welcome.
pleasure.
And then thank you, Dr. Tiff. Everybody thank Dr. Tiff.
Everybody, and thank you, Jim. Yes.
Everybody needs
Yes,
to thank Dr. Tiff, because Dr. Tiff, we don't pay her to do this. She's not getting paid to do this. This is just a doctor coming out and actually just giving some knowledge, sharing the knowledge with us.
Yeah, yeah.
I see over on my TikTok, Steve says he is looking for some help. Steve, be a little more specific, buddy. Be a little more specific. And if you guys want to order the product and you were not sent here by somebody, you just kind of stumbled across it, just get with either Dr. Tiff or myself and we'll kind of point you in the right direction. We'll get you hooked up. Okay? Any questions, or are we going to let these ladies off easy tonight?
I guess so. Oh, you know what, Jim? Since somebody has a question.
So it removes skin tags. I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to give it over to you, Dr. Tiff. But Chris Hansen found us by way of Beverly Grandison. And Beverly was our guest on this live stream. I think it was probably last September or something like it. It was quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And on that live stream, Beverly actually gave me pictures to share of her before and after. And it's shocking. It is shocking. Now, go watch that video and you'll see the difference in Beverly's skin tags. And then I'll just tell you, is it anecdotally? Is that the word I'm looking for? For me, they're gone. I don't have them anymore. I don't have them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Not really anecdotal. I mean, when your insulin's too high, it starts to behave like a growth hormone. And that's where those skin tags come from, along with the patches of the dark patches on the skin. So yes, if you improve the insulin resistance, those things should get better too. And we're seeing it happen.
Bud Smith, if you drink too much tea, can your blood sugar drop? I will tell you, I drink 5 a day. I can't drink enough of this stuff, and I'm living my best life. I think that's a little bit of an open-ended question. Could it drop?
Well, you know what I think, but the problem with that is, well, Chris, what do you think with that? We got a 30-year-old nurse veteran here.
So I would only say that if you are on medication for your blood sugar and you start this protocol, you will have to check your blood sugar frequently because your changes in your blood sugar will happen quickly. And if you're the type of person that changes your diet a little bit and then you start having dips, you really gotta tell your doctor, hey, I'm starting this protocol. It's in the physician desk reference. So you can actually have your doctor look it up and see that it's natural. There's no interaction with other medications. However, if you're on blood pressure medication or you're on insulin or some type of lowering blood sugar medication, you are going to have a change happen quickly. So don't assume you can take the same amount of medication that you've been taking because you're going to reverse things quickly. So you have to be careful.
It's perfect.
Keith Bonney just put this up here. And I love this. The FGS the Feel Great system saved my life. Today I was able to hike 5.5 miles because of this protocol.
Wow.
I want to ask, now I love Keith. I've gotten to know Keith really well over the last year and a half. You mentioned insulin and blood pressure medications. Keith was on both of those for a very long time. He's on neither of them today.
Wow.
So with that being said, as we're wrapping up, and I meant to ask this earlier, and I don't want anybody to embellish anything, but if you are in the audience and you are on the system, would you be so kind as to just put a quick little paragraph on what this system has done for you since you started. And I'm going to ask you guys to start typing those up while we're wrapping up the live stream. As we're wrapping,
I forgot to say something.
yes,
I forgot to say, I'm off 2 of my medications.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
I'm off my anti-reflux drug, and for a sleep sister post-op 13, 14 months to be off their anti-reflux drug is like unheard of, for one. And 2, I'm off my metformin because I'm no longer pre-diabetic.
Yes, yes.
Woo!
Okay, so as we're going through these, so everybody keep an eye on the comment section. I want to start wrapping it up now. Chris, 30 seconds. Everybody's skeptical, and they have every right to be skeptical because there's so much snake oil in the marketplace. If you could talk to somebody who is skeptical, again, 30 seconds, what do you say to them?
You didn't look your doctor up and down when they wrote you that prescription. You didn't ask your doctor, how long am I going to be on this? You didn't ask your doctor, hey, what's the efficacy of this thing? And what's your license that has you allow me to like have this prescription? And you took that prescription, blind faith, to the pharmacy. It does not treat the root cause. Let's be real. That's all I got to say.
That was real. Felicia, same question to you.
What about being skeptical?
Yeah, if you were talking to somebody that was skeptical, as they should be, 30 seconds, what do you say to them?
I'd say give it a chance. I mean, something that's 90-day money back guaranteed, that's unheard of. And I think give it a shot. You ain't got nothing to lose, but better health is to be gained.
Yep. Yes.
I love it. That's pretty easy.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's straightforward.
Ladies, I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you for coming on to our live stream. I'm going to turn your cameras off now. Stick around for me for another couple of minutes, and we'll talk once I've ended the live.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on with us. Dr. Tiff, I'm going to say that was another amazing live stream.
It was.
I hope everybody is reading these.
Yes.
They're going to be, they'll stay on the Facebook. It looks like most of them are from the Facebook, so you'll be able to find those. Dr. Tiffany, if somebody wanted to find you on social media, where would they find you?
Dr. Tiffany Marie on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter when I'm over there. YouTube, that's a YouTube.
Yeah. You're amazing. I appreciate you. I think I speak for all of us when I say thank you for doing this with us. Guys, it was an amazing live stream. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Come back and check us out next week. We'll do this every single Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're on the fence, get off the fence. You know what the number one thing that I would say that I hear about people who do get on it, they sit there and wait for a little while because they want to do all their due diligence, and that's fine, is once they actually do order the system, they always say, I wish I wouldn't have waited so long.
Yep.
Always.
Always.
Right. There's nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yes.
What if 3 months from now you didn't feel helpless and hopeless? What if in 3 months, what if that entire thing could change in a matter of months?
Right. Right. Well, thank you, Jim. This was awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Tiff.
Great.
Everybody have a wonderful week.